Assalamualaikum to all of my classmates and to Dr. Yati. So we are from group number 10, where today we are going to have a debate on a certain issue which is going to be discussed later on in this video. So in this debate, there are two speakers from the affirmative side, which are myself. My name is Luqman Hakim bin Jaafar.
My name is Mohd Firdaus, Mohd Azzuhan.
And there are two speakers from the opposition side, which are
My name is Fatini Amal binti Cik Azhar.
And my name is Syasya binti Muhammad Rizal.
Okay, so in this debate, we are given case number 10, which Engineer Shahrul is retained by Attorney Mariam, representing company ABC, a plaintiff in a lawsuit against the owner of a building and several building material manufacturers to conduct a forensic engineering investigation in connection with a building fire that resulted in the death and injury of several individuals. Following the completion of Engineer Shahrul's investigation and report, Attorney Mariam and client ABC enter into a private settlement with the building owner and the building material manufacturers. Under the terms of the settlement, which is approved by the court, Engineer Shahrul is ordered not to reveal the contents of his forensic engineering investigation report. Engineer Shahrul is concerned that his settlement will undermine his obligation to the public because he believes the forensic engineering report contains important findings relating to the use of manufactured building material. So the question is, what are the Engineer Shahrul's obligations under the circumstances? Should he agree with the private settlement or should he done otherwise? That is going to be discussed further in the debate. Hope you all enjoyed our video.
Thank you for the introduction. We will now start the debate with the Luqman Hakim bin Jaafar as affirmative side. You are now given 7 minutes to pitch your point, and that's now.
Thank you, moderator. So, in my opinion, based on case 10, Engineer Shahrul obligate to maintain clients' confidentiality as to protect the integrity of the companies involved, which is between company ABC and the owner of the warehouse. Although throughout the investigation, multiple conflicts of interest happened between the two parties, but for the greater good, it has settled in a fair settlement. In the settlement, Engineer Shahrul has been told not to reveal the contents of his forensic engineering investigation report, as it would affect the decision of the settlement. It is true that a professional engineer has an obligation to hold paramount the public's health, safety and welfare under the NSPE Code of Ethics and under many state licensing board rules of professional conduct. But maybe Engineer Shahrul might felt that his report does have some technical concern without revealing specific and identifiable facts and circumstances that would compromise the settlement. By referring to the Code of Conduct of Registered Person, which is under Act 1.1, Section 1.1.8, a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not express publicly technical opinions that are not founded upon his competence and knowledge of the fact in the subject matter. It means that competence and knowledge are important for an engineer, as it means that you could do something very precisely and capable of performing a task or a job. So competence also means you have the knowledge and skill to solve problems and could take time for the report to be developed. Therefore, it is wise for Engineer Shahrul to agree with the settlement and not to reveal the investigation report to the public, as it might affect his integrity as an engineer. If he decided to reveal his report and the report contains technical concerns, therefore it will jeopardize his credibility as an engineer.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Luqman Hakim, but as an engineer, what do I understand that is we have to keep the clients on remaining on their confidentials. But in this situation, it is a private settlement. So don't you think it is not appropriate as there any hidden agenda behind?
Okay, I'm sorry, Miss Fatini, for the inconvenience questions. I would like to take the honor in answering your question. Okay, in this case, the settlement does not inflict in hiding secrecy information as stated earlier. The engineer Shahrul may not be competent in his profession if he did the settlement, but if the investigation contains some technical concerns that might portray the wrong information about the company, so it is an advantage for the engineer Shahrul to take the benefits. As stated from the Code of Conduct BEM, Section 1.3.1, a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not accept any benefit or compensation, financial or otherwise, from more than one party for professional engineering service on the same project, or for professional engineering service pertaining to the same project, unless the second terms are fully disclosed and agreed to by all interested parties. So in this situation, that all interested parties agrees in doing the private settlements, and the engineer Shahrul just accept the benefits from its clients, from its company. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Luqman, for your opinions about the case study given. Okay, now we will proceed to the second speaker, which is the first speaker for the opposition side, Miss Syasya. Okay, you are given 5 minutes to provide your opinions. Your time starts now.
An opposition side, based on this case study, Engineer Shahrul was asked to evaluate a building for the company over some technical problems for the forensic engineering report. Engineer Shahrul studied technical problems during the inspection, but also found other problems that could be a potential danger to the public relating to the use of manufactured building materials. As an ethical engineer, he has to notify the board regarding this information or situation, even though the company asked him to decrypt this information. This situation related to the Code of Conduct 1.1.10. A registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall notify the board within 3 months if he is convicted an offence involving false or negligent certification, fraud or dishonesty in Malaysia or elsewhere, or if he becomes bankrupt.
Sorry to interrupt you, Miss Sarah, but I have a question regarding your opening statement, which is, my question is, do you think if Engineer Shahrul acted the way you wanted, or does his personal image will be affected as he is involved in the project?
Thank you, Mr. Luqman Hakim, on your question. But based on your question, regardless how bad one acted during this project happened, he or she cannot deny his or her duty as a professional engineer. My statement is based on a Registration Act 1967, which claims that a practicing certificate of engineer shall be objective and truthful in making professional reports, statements, and testimonies. He shall include all relevant and pertinent information in such reports, statements, or testimonies which should bear the date indicating when the information was current. Thus, in my conclusion, your question is actually based on the act. Regardless how bad Engineer Shahrul will be, he must give the right statement to the audience or to the public. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for the explanation.
Okay, moving to the next point. As stated by the affirmative side, Engineer Shahrul has an ethical obligation to maintain the confidentiality of the forensic engineering report. The board mentioned that the responsibility to protect the public health and welfare, takes priority in most cases overrides all factors. Thus, since it involves the manufactured building material, the hazard has been resulted to death and injury to the public. It is vital for the public to acknowledge that this kind of hazards around them. This situation also related to the Code of Conduct 1.2.3. A registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not reveal facts, data, or information without the prior consent of the client or employer, past and present, except as authorized or required by law, or when the withholding of such information is contrary to the safety, health, and interests of the public.
So we will move on with the second speaker from the opposition side, which is Ms. Fatini. So you will be given 4 minutes to point out your opinion. So your 4 minutes starts now.
Thank you, moderator. As for today, I will be in opposition team. And for this case, I do acknowledge that Engineer Shahrul is being loyal to the company if he agreed with the settlement to keep himself from exposing client A's wrongdoings. However, is he being fair to the family members and people that were involved in the accident? Any accident that is involving fatalities, I believe, must catch everyone's eyes, and on behalf of that, did the people and the family members who were injured and passed away in the tragic accident receive the compensation? Hence, if we see thoroughly in this case, in my point of view, Engineer Shahrul should not receive and agree to any terms on receiving the settlement from company ABC's client, which will portray he is an ethical person because he is truthful in doing his job. Based on the registration of Engineers Act 1967, Section 1.1.7, claims that a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall be objective and truthful in making professional reports, statements, and testimonies. Thus, as for my question in this case, if in the future other companies would like to run a project and ask company A, B, C to do a testimony on the same building material manufacturer, as you have experience working with them, what will it be? Are you going to say yes because you're going to accept the project, or are you going to say no due to the experience? Is it still in the context of ethics, or you shall hold the paramount to the safety, welfare, health of the public? Next, my second point is, in this situation, Engineer Shahrul also should not be worried or hesitate on making the right statement on how, what, and the accident occur, as it might occur due to mechanical factors or even worse, human error. I highly believe that those who were involved in the accidents want justice and explanation after they had lost their loved ones. Based on this situation, it can be seen that due to the private settlement and terms they had, made Engineer Shahrul hesitate to do the right thing, and for my statement, it is supported with registration of Engineers Act 1967, Section 1.1.9 said that a registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not issue any statement, criticism, or argument on technical matters that are inspired or paid for by the interested parties. In conclusion, Ms. Sarah and me are very confident in our decision in which Engineer Shahrul should expose his client wrongdoings, regardless he's involved or not. This would sort most of the problem in which the family and the workers that has affected by the tragic accident. Not only just that, the situation also can be turned upside down, in which instead of they are being embarrassed in public, but they can very understanding by giving justice and explanation to the one who needs them, especially to the family members and also to the workers who are injured.
Thank you to the opposition side. Now moving on to the last speaker, which is the second speaker of the affirmative side, Mr. Firdaus. You'll be given 4 minutes to explain, and your time starts now.
Thank you, moderator. Okay, I, as the second speaker from the affirmative side, strongly against the opinion from opposition side and act as the last defense of the case study given. I responsibly here to show the truth of all to the audience. Okay, first of all, I will oppose the point from the first speaker of opposition side, which is the first point is if he is convicted of an offense involving false, fraud, and dishonesty or bankrupt. Okay, from this act, it is clearly stated that if he convicted for an offense, but what happened if he not convicted on any offense due to all agreements that been done by all parties involved? Okay, so from this, we can see that the act stated cannot be used because all the parties has do the private settlements in their own ways. Okay. The second one is not reveal facts, data, or information without consent of clients or employer unless as authorized or required by law. Okay. From this point, by revealing the finding without any consent, especially from the clients or employer, doesn't make the decision is the best choice as it against the act stated givens. For the second speaker, the first point is the truthful in doing his job. Okay. Based on this, it must consider into any consequence and conflict that can exist in the future for the act of selfishness act without concern for others. From the point stated, okay, she says that she has to reverse the findings because she want to show the justice to about the deaths and injury that's related to the case. Okay. For the second one is not issue any statement, criticism and arguments that being inspired by interested parties. Okay, in this case givens clearly stated that the interested party issues that Shahrul has to be silenced and don't need to show the findings as the settlement has been done. Okay. If he tend to shows to the public about the findings, then he must take full responsible of the consequence of what he has done. Okay. Okay. So I will explain about from our opinions. Okay. As the NSPE Code of Ethics Section 3.4, engineer should not disclose without consent confidential information concerning the business affairs or technical process of any present or former client or employer or public body in which they serve. Okay. From this, we can say that the Act stated that cannot expose the finding without consent to avoid any conflicts or consequence which may lead to the worst scenario to the public that may hurt the pride of himself, the company, and the client that involved. Okay. For the second one is we can use the Act Code of Conduct BEM Section 1.3.2. A registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall disclose all known or potential conflict of interest that may influence or appear to influence his judgment or the quality of his service. Okay. From this code, it states that it shall disclose all known or potential conflict of interest that may appear to influence his judgment. Okay. The interest refers to the emotion and ego, which it should not be exist, as they are the factors that can lead to potential conflict in the investigation. Okay. So based on the conclusion, based on the debate of the case study given, we show that everyone has their own opinions based on their own perspective of view on the situation given. I and Mr. Luqman from the affirmative side, Higby, strongly agree with the engineer Shahrul, which he has to hide the finding and agree with the settlement by taking factors of the consequence and the futures of others that related to the case study. That's all from us. Thank you.